Tide Talk with Webb is back. What's going on? Getting ready for this Wisconsin versus Bama game, or shall I say Bama versus Wisconsin game. I'm super excited. My prediction is 38-10. Game recap. How's it going to go? Basically, we saw last week there was issues with the offensive line. We know that was where everything stopped and started. Everything that was good or bad stopped and started with the offensive line. Yes, we had some fumbles in the third quarter and this, that, and the other. But the main issues were that offensive line. There's a lot of talk that Proctor will play a little bit, and then Pritchard. I definitely think whether that happens or not, it will be definitely improved. Obviously, we got to let Milroe be Milroe, and we got to run the damn ball. That's the bottom line, and you got to quit holding people. Now, I think it'll be better this week. I think we'll have corrected that. I think some of the injured linemen will stop playing musical chairs, and I think we will, even if we play those hurt guys sparingly, I think we play them like every third, fourth play, and that makes all the difference in the world for us. Some other keys to the game that I think that the Wisconsin's not a bad team. They're not great. But they're not a bad team. But what I would think, if I'm their defensive coordinator, I'm telling them, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to double cover Williams, and we're going to have a safety over the top. We're going to let everybody else play man. So with that being said, that's one of the number one players. They're going to stop that. We have got to have Bernard, Kendrick Law, and Kobe Prentice step up. These guys are absolute barn burners, all three of them, but they're going to have to take the load because Williams is going to be tied up. Every play, they're going to jam him at the line. They're going to double team him, possibly triple team him with a safety over the top. You got to get Bernard, Law, Prentice involved. There is no ifs, ands, or buts in the passing game. You have to do that. That will happen. A little rundown on the stats of where we are on both teams to give a little perspective. Milroe's got 23 passes of 35 for almost 400 yards. He's like 5 yards off for 5 TDs. Van Dyke, their quarterback, he's 38 of 63, barely 50%, of 400 yards and only 1 TD. Now, Jam Miller, top running back, he's got 20 carries, 200 yards, 2 TDs. Malusi, their top running back, he's only got 35 carries, 130 yards, 3 TDs. So they're pretty balanced as far as offense, but I do think they do lean heavily on the run and try to pound the ball. They're going to have a hard time Saturday if that's what they think they're going to try to do. Our number one receiver, obviously, is Williams. He's got 6 recoveries, 207 yards, 3 TDs. Their top receiver, Paulding, has got 10 recoveries, 100 yards, no TDs. So they don't look dynamic in the passing game at all. I mean, that doesn't even look like that's a thing. But, we don't know. They're going to probably throw everything but the kitchen sink at us, so we got to be prepared for that. But I don't think it's going to be that intense. Now, do I think if the offensive line is off, it could be tough. But I think we're going to have that figured out. I've seen some pundits online, this, that, and the other talk about, well, DeBoer doesn't have his playbook. He better open that playbook. They're playing Bama ball. They're playing DeBoer ball. They're playing to their best strengths. But like I said, it all starts and stops with offensive line. If you can't block nobody, it don't matter. It don't matter who you've got at running back or quarterback, or if you can't hold on to the ball and you have fumbles, that's irrelevant. Now when people block, we had hurt Prentice in there for what? Or Pritchard in there. He was in there for 7 offensive plays on the line. And 3 of the 7 we scored touchdowns. So enough said there. Like I said, Milroe is going to need to spread it around. I know he loves Williams, and Williams is a deep threat, but so is the other 3 guys I've mentioned multiple times. You got Bernard, you got Law, you got Prentice. They will have to step up. They are barn burners, absolutely, and that was what we will have to lean on. And so I think Milroe knows that. I think he's going to spread the ball around. I'm not too worried there. The one thing I will say about Wisconsin is they're very balanced. They're about 50-50 run pass, whatever. They played LSU in a bowl game last year. They were 7-6 for the year. They did keep it within 4 points. So let's remember that. They kept it within 4 points of LSU last year. LSU on offense was all-world last year. But one caveat, they had their backup QB playing in that bowl game. So with that being said, you didn't have the starter that was all-world that went to the pros and all that jazz. But they did keep up. You know, we know that LSU had a horrible defense. They were hot garbage for the year. They were horrible. But it could be a long day if we don't. The biggest thing is the offensive line. If we don't have that together, you know, all bets are off. Anybody could. I mean, South Florida almost beat us at home because of that. So that's something I think they're going to try to attack defensively. They do have a smaller defensive line than us. I think they're going to try to crash down. They're going to try to blitz. They're going to do all these things. Do I think South Florida is a little bit more talented? Yes, a whole lot more. I think on that defensive line, you had a few guys that potentially, for sure, a third to second day draft pick kind of guys. So we know that. Not really that worried about it. Like I said, after doing a little bit of research and looks and looking at their offense, not too worried. But the main thing is it's an offensive line. Like I said, again, my prediction for the game is 38-10. If we have kind of a rough day, great prediction, 49-7. You know, but we'll see how it goes. Like I said, a lot of it depends on that line, and that's where it kind of boils down to. All right, let's get Tide Talk with Webb's top 25 picks of the day. Tonight we got AZ playing K-State. I think it's a high-scoring game. I think it's 38-36 Arizona. The reason I say that, I think that Arizona quarterback and that wide receiver, was it Finelli? Phenomenal. Those two guys, they can score on anybody, anytime, any place. K-State don't have a defense. They can score. They almost got beat by Tulane, so I think it's whoever's got the ball. It's a track meet. Last team with the ball wins. I think it's just super high scoring. OSU versus South Carolina. I'll take OSU in that game. 28-21. I think it's a close one. South Carolina's kind of up and coming. They're a scrappy fighting team, kind of shifty. I think they can wear you down if you ain't careful, and so I think that's a close one. But I think OSU wins it. You got Michigan versus Arkansas State. I think obviously Michigan wins that easy, 48-17. Boston College versus Mizzou. I think 42-24 Mizzou. I think Mizzou takes it. I don't think Boston College has quite enough firepower to beat Missouri. Oregon versus Oregon State, very interesting game. Oregon is not what I think we thought they were. I think Oregon does win it, 34-17 in a tough one at the end. Miami versus Ball State. Blowout! Blowout! I think it's 52-10, Miami. Oklahoma versus Tulane. I think this is close. They have a phenomenal quarterback at Tulane, and I think they keep it close. I think the final score is 48-42 Oklahoma. We got Notre Dame versus Purdue. I think it's kind of close. I think 28-17 Notre Dame. I think it's super close. Utah versus Utah State. I think Utah cleans it up. 36-16 Utah. Ole Miss versus Wake Forest. 68-17 Ole Miss. Blow them out. UTSA versus Texas. I think Texas destroys them. 62-14 Texas. Got Georgia versus Kentucky. I don't think this is really a contest from what I saw them put up against South Carolina. I think Georgia easily wins 52-12 UGA. Nebraska versus Northern Iowa. I think Iowa takes it easy, 40-12 Nebraska. Tennessee versus Kent State, 56-7 Tennessee. And that is my take on it, guys. I'll try to do a recap tomorrow after all the games. Love you guys. Enjoy your college football Saturday, and roll time.